So here's the thing. Do you like having money? Do you like the feeling of having money? I know I do. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer, putting 20% down on a house won't give you that feeling. It'll take it away. So I know the video is about whether you should put 20% down on a house or not, and I think you know which side I'm leaning to, but I'll tell you on the other side. Welcome back to Investing for Parents. Now, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button because I'm a parent. I'm not necessarily going to plan these videos all the time, the same time. So for you to know when they come out, it's got to pop up for you. Not only that, by doing all this, you let YouTube know, hey, I like this video. Maybe other people will like it too. That's how YouTube works. Because then the same crap, because they have a lot of following, the same things that you could Google and read and whatever, it's the same thing that generic people are putting out that are popular because they have a lot of people that like them. So if you want to continue to see those, by all means. But if you want to continue to see stuff like this, right here, make sure you do all of the stuff you know. Make sure you do everything everyone ever tells you. Right here, to the video. So, should you put 20% down on a house? Hell no. What are you, crazy? If this is your first house, no. If you are a parent that these videos are dedicated to and for, no. Because A, you have extra costs outside of buying a house. Now, if you saved up a tremendous amount of money, you have a lot of money, this video is not necessarily for you. You can put 20% down. Now, to the corner you go. The other people, do not put 20% down. Here's the thing. Let's say you want a house that's $20,000. That's $200,000. 20% of that is $40,000. I know when I was buying my first house, I didn't have $40,000, nor was I giving it to anyone. Because if you give all that money away that you've saved up and something big comes along, and then you don't factor in closing costs, you don't factor in everything you're going to have to pay for, whether it be inspection, appraisal, whatever it is that you have to pay for on the side. You've given away all your money. Now you don't have any money to do any of that stuff. Not only that, the only thing that they don't require you to put 20% down. It's not a must or you can't get the loan. It's good practice. Now, if you don't put 20% down, they need that little grease money, that little extra money they making on the side. Because then they'll charge you PMI. And that's just mortgage insurance. That's the mortgage company, the lender saying, listen, you're not putting 20% down. I need my little bit extra on the side so that if you can't pay your bills and you foreclose on the house, they get that little extra money for them. They're happy and they'll sell the house back anyway. So that's their little grease money. So that whatever you don't put 20% down, they charge you a PMI. Now, PMI is $75 for every $100,000 that of house that you buy. So if a house costs $100,000, you pay $75 and so forth and so forth. Goes up as the amount of thousands you buy your house for. Now, so if you put 20% down, $40,000 on a $200,000 house, you don't have any money left. Okay, great. Good luck for you. Now, what you can do is you can put 10% down. You can put $20,000 down. That way you have $20,000 left over. And let's see, if your down payment, $200,000 house, that means your closing costs are probably going to be between $6,000 to $9,000. You have barely any scratch left over at the end. You're going into a new house. You're going to want to furnish it. You're going to want the relocation cost, the moving cost, anything that has to be fixed. You have to factor in all these things. The PMI is not worth it. Now, PMI you're going to get rid of anyway. So PMI you can get rid of after you've paid down 20%. So if as soon as you've gotten to the 20% down in the house, 20% of the house, then you can get rid of your PMI. It's a 80% loan value. That's it. So my first house, I like to do what I did in the first time because I like to put a human element to it. That's not, oh, I got money from my dad or, someone. No, I had to scratch together like everyone else. So my first house was $130,000. It was a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. Now, so I didn't put 20% down. I put my favorite number down, 7%, because it works. It just works. So my PMI I can get rid of now because here's the thing. You can get rid of your PMI a year later. Let's say you bought a house that's $200,000. You only put 10% down, so you put $20,000 down, and now you have PMI. So if the market that you're in, you get enough, let's say your house was valued. I'm going to slow down because I think I'm going too fast, right? Let's say you bought a house that's $200,000. The actual value of the property during appraisal is $220,000. So you have $220,000 in equity. Let's say you only put, 10% down. So that's of the $200,000. So that's $20,000. So by the next year or a year that you've lived in the house, if the house goes up or appreciates, then you're adding equity. That next year, you can be like, listen, my value is already at 80% because my house is worth way more than I bought it for, and it's gone up 20%. So that's your extra. You already bought it for 20%. So that's your 20% that you had in the house. So now you have a combo of, let's say it just stays at the same value. You have a combo of 40%, which is the 20% they wanted you to pay down anyway. But let me go back. I think those kind of explanations in videos without some actual backings of charts and stuff goes in one ear, out the other. That's the way it works for me. So let me go back to my house. So I bought the house for $132 or something like that, $1,000, and its value at the time when I bought it was around $150, something like that. So I had already had equity in it, and then because of its location and me fixing it up and going through, my house is now worth $220,000. That was the first one. So because I never really paid attention and let it go, I should have, but I didn't want to pay for the appraisal. So it's going to be 6 years on that property. So it's going to be 6 years, and my PMI is going to be gone in October of next month. That's without me doing anything, because once the loan to value of the house is 80%, they have to get rid of the PMI on their own side. So I've done nothing, and only 6 years of me paying, it was like 80 some odd dollars that I paid for my PMI. Now your PMI also goes with your credit score, etc. But for what it's worth, it's $75 every $100,000 you pay. So here's why I don't think you should put 20% down. Well, like I said, there's really a lot of extra cost involved in buying a house. Closing costs being the biggest one on the back end. Not only that, you need extra money if you have kids and everything else. You need that money. And let's face it, a lot of us put ourselves in a situation where we're using a lot of that money as a down payment with nothing really to cover us but our paychecks, which is hard to do. Now, here's something people don't tell you, and it pissed me off to the nth degree. It pissed me off because they didn't tell me this in the beginning. They just told me I had to put 20% down in order for there not to be PMI. And I was like, dang, you know what? Whatever. I'll still deal with it because I still want to buy the house. And it's not that much. But here's what they don't tell you. The higher the amount that you put down into the house, the lower the PMI is. The PMI is actually judged based on the amount that you put in. It's not just like you don't put 20% down, so it's an automatic, $75, etc. There's a set rate no matter what you're having that amount of PMI, no matter what. So long. No, if I put 7% down. So if I had put 10% down, it would have lowered my PMI. Obviously, you think about it now, and that's the way it worked, but that's not the way I was thinking about it as a first-time home buyer. I wasn't thinking about it that way. I was just thinking about, hey, it's PMI, so I didn't put 20% down, so they're going to do that. And I was like, wait, if they're charging me 70, the number doesn't make sense in terms of what my PMI was going to be, but I didn't have any argument base there. No one told me the higher amount that I put in, closer to the 20%, the lower my PMI was going to be. I just thought it was one set number that it was going to be regardless once you put anything under 20% down. So if you put 10% in, your PMI is lower and you get rid of it sooner if your house just stays the same. But that's why I don't think you should put 20% down. And 7% is a nice number. Let's say for the $200,000 house, instead of putting 20%, you put 10%. That's $20,000. But if you put 7% down, that's $14,000. That leaves you all the room in the world for that initial $40,000 then to be able to pay off everything for that house. And if you had a little extra saved over for your everyday cost, then you don't have to touch that to pay off your closing costs or to pay for the inspection or appraisal or all that extra stuff, the survey, all that extra stuff that you have to pay for in the middle that no one bothers to really go through really with you. Or if they do, it really doesn't click until it starts happening for you. So I would say never put 20% down if it's your first house. It's just too much cash to get rid of. It's just a feeling you don't want to not have. You're really cash poor when you're moving into an empty house, or maybe you have a little furniture, and then everything, you're paying everything now. You're paying all the utilities. You're paying everything. It's just a really bad feeling. So in your first house, never put 20% down. You want to get rid of 75, a little PMI, fine, but you're going to get rid of it anyway. Or you can get rid of it the next year, so long as the value of your house goes up, or if you bought a house that had equity in it. I hope I didn't confuse you, because I felt like this video I confused a little bit in terms of things. So if I did, just hit me up in the comments so I could, tighten it a little bit. But I think I got to where I wanted to be. But I appreciate you guys joining me. Again, like, subscribe, make this video something that somebody else would want to see. I appreciate you guys joining me. I'll see you next time.